Oh, I can just see it right now. Everybody on the keyboard just, you think kickboxing is better than boxing? Blah, in the comments trying to blast me. I am not comparing kickboxing to boxing, saying one is better than the other. I am simply saying today in this episode, here are some strengths that will grow and grow and grow more in kickboxing than in boxing. How do I know this? Very simply, I've trained kickboxing for years. I've spent much of my career preparing for fights by going to boxing gyms and sparring against guys who just use hands, and I always get the same feedback. They always go, wow, you are exceptional at this, 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 and this. So I am not here to blast boxing in any way. I love boxing. I think it's something that every martial artist needs to get really good at because it will help you so much. But really when you get down to it, each martial art, even as they get weirder and weirder, a little bit more like Aikido or sport Taekwondo, there's still a time and a place to take things from that and add it to your martial arts repertoire. So we're not saying boxing is bad in any way. We're just saying what can you get better at in kickboxing than boxing. And this is not a blanket statement. This is not for each individual out there. This is for the average person. So the very first thing that you can get better at, or at least I've been told I'm very good at versus boxers, is balance. Yes, boxers, guys like Lomachenko have amazing balance. They're all over the place. They're doing their steps. Oh, they're so balanced. But still, the training comparison between being on 2 feet and being on 1 foot is never going to align. You're always going to get superior balance training being on 1 foot, having to check kicks on 1 foot. That is so good for your overall stability. And whenever I go up against boxers and we end up on the inside and they're trying to push me around or use their little maneuvers, they're trying to cut angles, they always go, wow, your balance is so good. We have so much trouble catching the angle, taking advantage because I'm always taking those little steps, really quick adjusting. If they try to give me sort of a hit and a pull and another hit, it never seems to work. Again, because the balance that is created in kickboxing or any fight sport, I believe Muay Thai, high-level karate, you're gonna just be so good at just standing here. And then being on 2 feet, moving around, just throwing hands is gonna seem so easy. So that's a great reason for boxers, I believe, to even throw in some kicks occasionally and just try and improve that skill set. And if you're already doing kicks, fantastic, balance is probably on point. The second thing which I've been told and has been noted when I go against boxers is they go, my gosh, you are so tough. Like the impact that you can take down to the body, obviously not to the head. I don't even want to do those rounds anymore where people are trying to smash me in the head, but people very often will try and light up the body. Or I've had a few guys before, one time actually, did some sparring against a guy who fought for, I think, a WBA world title years ago. I was something like 28, I think he was 42, that was sort of the age difference, and he was having so much trouble landing on me, so he started going to my arm. And I remember smiling at him in the middle of the round, and he was kind of like, what? And then after, he told me what he was trying to do. He was trying to hit my arm and slow me down because I was a little bit younger, had a little bit more speed, and I just said, dude, look, I get people with bare shins kicking me in the arms. You hitting me with a padded glove feels like a little pillow bumping off me. So you're gonna get a tough body. You're gonna get so strong condition-wise from fight sports like kickboxing because boxers are used to getting hit with padded gloves. They're not gonna take nearly as much impact getting hit there as opposed to a kick, which is harder, plus no pads. So if you're doing a fight sport with legs, you can rest assured you're gonna be tougher than the average boxer. And everybody, I wanna give a shout out to the sponsor of this episode, XMARTIAL. You guys know they have apparel, but did you know they have so much other cool gear? This little thing here, this is a gyroscope, I believe. If you go to their website, you type in gyro or you type in ball, you can find this. You pump this up with your hand and I'm gonna spin it around like this. And I'm gonna tell you guys, if you have wrist issues, like I was having a couple of wrist issues and I got one of these and it seems to have solved it. In addition, my forearms get so fatigued. All you do is you wind it up, you let go, it starts spinning, and then you start going like this, and it just starts working away, and the faster it goes, the harder and harder it gets to hold. A little example here, it's gonna light up red. You're gonna be able to hear it as I start to go faster and faster. And now all of a sudden, it's wanting to shoot off every direction. My forearm is pumping. There we go, that's the sound now. If I can get this going for 30 seconds without my hand failing, it is crazy. If you guys are looking for extra stuff, extra gear for your training bag that can help you stay safe, can help you get stronger, head over to XMARTIAL, link in the description below to save 10% with my promo code Gabriel Varga. And point number 3, which is kind of just feeding into point number 2, which I was talking about, the guy was saying he was having trouble breaking through my guard because the Dutch guard is so good. We don't spend as much time trying to parry shots and slip shots. Many kickboxers go for that Dutch style where they just hang in here, they do small little adjustments, and mostly because we don't want to open up too many spaces or we don't want to slip into a knee or a kick. We just settle in here so we can deal with the punches, deal with the kicks, deal with the knees, get all of that going. So a lot of times guys say, okay, like I tried to break through your guard. I was trying to find the opening, but you just settle in so nicely. And that is a strength, which I think not every boxer is not going to have a Dutch guard under the skill level of that of a kickboxer. There are many boxers who can just stand in here, but the amount of times I've been told, wow, it's really hard to find an opening on you, just shows me that that Dutch style guard is so good and maybe not trained quite as much in boxing, especially amateur boxers where they're more out here and they don't want to have people peppering shots off their guard. So Dutch guard, something that's going to be a real strength if you're that kickboxer compared to the boxers. Another massive asset that you can get from kickboxing, which you will not get at the same level in boxing, is that pace that the fight brings. And so often when I spar with guys who just do hands, even though boxing is a crazy high-paced fight sport, they still sometimes go, whoa, those rounds with you are just exhausting. And I'm going, oh, that just seemed like a normal round to me. But once you remove legs and clench and you have those knees firing in and you have all those other elements which are just so tiring, when you just have the hands, I'm a lot of times like, oh, well, this is kind of nice. Like this seems like a much more chill pace and I can go for a much faster, for a much longer, as opposed to kickboxing where you're kind of like 3-minute rounds and you can be done. So your cardio can just excel from training in kickboxing. And I'd say on average, if you take an amateur fighter in kickboxing against an amateur fighter in boxing and you put them together, I would give the edge to the kickboxer on cardio, just because the training of the legs is so difficult. Now keep in mind, guys, these are not blanket statements. I'm not saying that every person is gonna have better cardio and every person in kickboxing is gonna have better conditioning, you know, through the arms and the toughness of their body. This is not everybody in the world. I'm just saying in general, here are 4 things that will be superior if you do kickboxing as opposed to boxing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and maybe some other areas where training kickboxing will be better than training boxing. Let's call it to everybody. Thanks for joining. I'll see you back here soon for another video.